But let's get rolling. Yes, sir. It's your boy Keiz Ali. Welcome back to the Champs Roll Wrestle cast across the screen for me. I got Mr. Flowers. How you doing, Mr. Flowers?
Yeah. I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a while. We've been on the Call Universe on the Instagram page and the YouTube page, but it's been a while since we sat down with a champion.
Ooh.
And this time, man, we got somebody that we watched for a long time, watched him come up through the Carolina wrestling scene.
Facts.
We got the Infinite Man himself, man. I know him as Timmy Lou. When we first popped out, it was Timmy Lou with the Gymnasty Boys, him and White Mike going crazy. Going crazy. But I'm going to hush up, let him introduce himself, let him tell you exactly who he is, what he does. What's going on, man? How you doing this evening?
Greetings, salutations, all is well. Thank you for having me.
No problem. But listen, when we first saw you, man, when I first saw you, a buddy of ours invited us to PWX.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like maybe 2.5, 3 hours away from PWX. And I jumped in the car, and I hate driving. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate driving. So I was complaining the whole like 2.5 hours. Like, man, this better be lit. This better be fun. And man, when y'all came through the curtain, man, the Gymnasty Boys came through the curtain. It was just like, yo, this is the greatest thing ever. And we literally went month after month after month. Then I started seeing you popping up on flyers that was closer to home. I'm like, yo, I know him. We're going to check him out. We're going to see him. Followed you on social media. Been following your journey ever since. And man, I just want to say thank you for allowing us the time to sit down with you.
Absolutely.
And just fellowship with you, learn more about you. Right now, from my understanding, man, you are the ESW East Coast champion, and you're also the IWE Tag Team champion. Is that correct?
As it stands now, I am just the IWE Tag Team champion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a little harvest for you, boy. So, much like yourself, I'm just allowing the process to process.
Gotcha. But you're also a trainer in Mega Wrestling right now, correct?
Yes, Mega Championship Wrestling in Elyria, Ohio.
Wow.
I actually got a show tonight up there.
So
good luck, guys.
from Carolina to Ohio, that's a trip, man.
Yes.
Tell us how you got from here to there, if you don't mind.
Well, a man named Brandon Xavier booked me and White Mike back in 2018, and he was trying to book us for the longest, but before then we weren't friends on Facebook. So if you aren't friends and you're messaging people, it goes directly somewhere else. So that message stood in my inbox for like 4 years.
Oh man.
Yeah. He was like, he really wanted to get me up there. So that was my first time going to Ohio. No, I did stuff in Dayton as well, but going to Ohio with Mega, I got to go there. Me and Mike performed, but the students, they wanted to learn. They wanted to sit under our tree and get as much as information as they could. And they made me feel like I was welcome there every time I got there. Before the pandemic hit, we was in a small kitchen. It was me and Brandon. We were just talking about life and Black wrestlers and what it is to be like one and what could be. And he was like, man, if you be in Ohio, we could run it. I was like, that'd be a dirty idea. But I was like, I had stuff in Ohio, North Carolina. I had a girlfriend at the time. I had me and White Mike was going on, and I didn't feel like that was my best situation. So I would just blow it off every 2 months. When you come in Ohio, when you come in Ohio, when you come in Ohio. Then the pandemic hits. Everything closes down. Everyone's in the house. And at that time, I was going through my transition of where I want to be in this wrestling business, where I want to be in my life. Yeah, I could do a lot of great things as a big man, but at that time, they weren't really looking for that. So I could do great things, but couldn't be in Texas. Didn't have the looks to be in California. I would almost have to fly myself there or drive myself there just to prove myself. And the late, great Shad Gaspard, I had the opportunity talking to him, and he pulled me and White Mike to the side one night after a show, and he didn't have to say this. To this day, I still don't understand. I do, but in wrestling terms, he would say, "You guys have it. You guys have people wanting to scream to win. It's just your bodies. I'm gonna be straight up with you. If you guys want to go anywhere, you got to drop the weight." And for him to be somewhere that was up here in WWE for a long time, he had anything else he could do that night. But the fact that he came to us, like he walked to us, wasn't like a, "Hey, come here," or someone came to us and said, "Hey, Chad wants to speak to you." No, he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, where's your partner? I want to talk to you." Like, he was very direct. He was transparent. He cared. So I actually got to message him the day of his passing. He was on the beach, and I was just looking for any information to just lose weight. And he took the time out of his personal life to write down things I could do to lose weight.
Man.
I could be very transparent. It was intimidating because I didn't think I could do all the stuff that he wrote down. But then when the universe said it was his time, and I saw the outpour, and I saw he wasn't just a wrestler, he was just a good man that wrestled. I took that message and I ran with it. I worked out every day during the quarantine. I walked, I run. At a grand total, I lost probably over 110 pounds.
Oh, wow. That took a lot of dedication right there, man.
It was a lot of lessons learned, a lot of stops, a lot of goes, but I can't really, like I said a lot of times, but I can't really speak for a lot of people, but I'm thankful for me, the quarantine happened. I know a lot of lives were lost, and my prayers will always go out to those people.
Yes.
But it was a big restart for everybody. And I'm thankful for it because it had me sit down, had me sit in my stuff. And just to revert back to how I got to Ohio, when all that stuff and I felt like I had nothing left here. Brandon hit me up on that night. He was like, "Hey, I got a ticket for you if you want it." I was like, "Man, I got clothes, all this." He's like, "Tim, stop bullshitting me. Do you want to do it or not?" And then I just sat there for like a good 5 minutes. If I could accomplish things I accomplished in North Carolina, why not in Ohio?
Yeah.
Why not anywhere in this world? So
that's what's up, man.
He drove 13 hours to come get me. 13 hours down, 13 hours back.
Wow.
And the rest?
That's a real friend, because I'm not going to drive 13 hours.
Nah, for sure.
I'm just going to be honest with you. It's hard to get me to get about 3.5 without me complaining. So 13 hours, you're going to hear it all the way there and all the way back. But when you were telling that story, man, it made me think of another question. I see that a lot of wrestlers, a lot of black wrestlers as well, seem to be really like buddy when it comes to like being on the internet, being on social media. And you were talking about your relationship and how you were able to send that message and he was to give you that information. Is that normal? Is that bonding real? I guess you would say behind the curtain. Is that something that typically or normally happens where a quote unquote more successful wrestler will reach out to someone that may be on the indie scene and build that connection with them? Is that something that normally happens?
I like to say yes. There's certain situations where there's wrestlers that do reach back out that will say, hey man, I see what you're doing, keep going. And for most people, especially in the beginning, that could be like, well, what does that even mean? It's like, keep doing what I'm doing. It's like, what? But it's like where I am now, I get it. I truly get it. It's like the things that you are doing is being noticed. It's not, it may not be the right time here, but the things you're doing is noticed. So if you go here, you may go here, you may go here. That ends you up right here. So you'll get those messages, but then you be transparent. Life happens. When people get those contracts, their life does change. The people they're around do change. Their schedule do change. So you don't have access to them like you used to, especially if you're not really in that inner circle with them. And that's understandable. And then there's some people that feel the need to gatekeep and not want to share. Is like with the wrestling business, it's understood in certain things that wrestling wasn't really typically for us. We were made to look as a helper, a supporting cast. We get put in the athletic role. And sometimes there'll be maybe one, if you're lucky, two wrestlers on the card. So they feel the need to, they have to protect the spot or protect what's theirs when none of this belongs to us. It's like, what is yours? It is yours. So I can't stop you from getting what the universe has for you. But people are still growing and learning. So patience, understanding, grace, and knowing all is well.
Gotcha. Now, man, you didn't hell your championship list is fairly long. You had the gal. I think I want to say this right. The gals championship for over 1,300 days. Now that's a long ass time. I'm just gonna say that's a long ass time to be somebody's champion, fam. Then you had the I'm reading off the list of the AML Tag Champion, Gymnasty Boys 3 times, Fest Championship 3 times, IWA Tag Championship with Gymnasty Boys. They want you to be their champion, but what does it mean to be a champion for 1,300 days? Like, what does that feel like? Like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean? I mean, I know what it means to be a champion, but 1,300 days. Why do they choose you to represent them for so long?
Infinite trust. When Gouge is my home promotion. I started back. Today is literally my 10th year anniversary in the wrestling business.
I seen you
there.
Congratulations.
I started down there. Thank you. I started down there in Raleigh, North Carolina. When I first saw that ring, it was addicting. I didn't get it to get in there. It was I got to be around it. I got to touch the ring curtains. I got to touch the posts. I got to touch the ropes. And I was like, yep, it's a wrap. Whatever I had planned, this is right here. And my trainer, Mike Phillips, Seymour Snot, I can't thank him enough. He took someone who was just green, had no understanding of the business, and he gave him a chance. The first time I saw the Gauge Heavyweight Championship, it was on Mickey Gambino. When I saw it, I knew I had to have that. Because when I was little, I would create belts. I'd make those cardboard belts or I'd buy toy belts and all this. But I never had something that I intentionally wanted. It's like even when I wrestled in high school, it was like, oh, it's cool. I can wrestle. I can do all the pro wrestling moves. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But 9 times out of 10, it didn't work. But I digress. I saw that belt and I was like, that's something that I want the world to see me with. And I knew I just had to be patient. So I'd come there early, I set up the rings, I tear down the rings, I take their jackets, I take their ring stuff, but I do everything outside of that ring just so I can be next to that ring. I'd ring, but it was one time it just downpoured. It was raining, but we wasn't going to stop. The match kept going. I'm just out there recording with my phone that got messed up because my stupid self tried to record in the ring. But I wanted to be there. I wanted to be in that atmosphere. It was like I waited so long to be there. I'd make the games. I'd play with the toys. I'd pretend I'd be my favorite wrestler in the backyard, jump on trampolines. Like, I'm now here. So whatever the world was trying to put on me or give to me, I was accepting because now I'm right where I need to be. So when I got to wrestle for the heavyweight championship, my mom was out there, my grandma was out there, hell, even my grandfather out there, and he goes nowhere. Nowhere. When I won, it was downtown Raleigh, and I was born and raised there, so it just brought on so much emotions there because I remember the stories. I remember the kids picking on me. I remember people that I love saying I couldn't do this, and I did that in front of my hometown, right down the middle of it. So I knew I wanted to really show what Gouge could do, because Gouge was, in the sense of the world could understand, North Carolina's version of Chikara, where they had a lot of gimmick wrestlers, a lot of situation scenarios, and fun wrestling for fun times. Very family friendly. That's where I came. Was Timmy Lou Retton, professional wrestling's only gymnast at the time. So I was able to stand out because, one, I was this thick black man doing cartwheels, splits, front flips, back flips, tumbling passes, and all this. And the funny part is the older crowd got the name because of Mary Lou Retton.
Yeah.
So it was a good way just to work my way through and get my foot in the door, because most of the promoters are older people and they would get Mary Lou Retton. It was like, oh, okay. But most people didn't have the internet. So when I'm reaching out to them, or they didn't really have my profile on the internet. So when I'm doing these promos or I'm trying to get booked, I go to shows where they thought I was white based off the name. Went to this Hell's Angels show.
Wow.
And
that's a shocker there, Bo.
I get there and the promoter's like, who are you? I was like, yeah, I'm Timmy Lou Retton. He was like, no, you're not. I was like, I am. I showed him a poster. I showed him my internet and everything. They was like, ooh.
You're not gonna work out, buddy.
I was like, I'm already here. It's like the money that I used to get here is gone. So however you feel about my skin, I need that green. Or you're gonna see my skin enhanced.
That's a good way to put it. That's
yes.
a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it.
Yes. So I did the match. I was able to wrestle one of my friends, Zane Dawson. He protected me like hell. But he threw me on the outside and we're fighting. He grabs a drink. He drinks it. He spits in my face. I'm like, all right, cool. I hit him. I'll do the same thing. But at this time, I don't drink. So I get this lady's coffee cup. It was Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, oh, okay, some coffee. I drink that. I was like, what the hell is this? And I spit in Zane's face, and he's like, what the hell is White Russian? I was like, my throat burns. So we're wrestling like 20 minutes. And the funny part is, they cheered for me after the match. I got out there. I left as quick as I could. But just for them cheering and appreciating what we did, I'll take that.
Yeah. You got out of there with your life, man. That's a plus too. Man, that's definitely a plus.
But to go back to the Gals championship, to have that championship that long and to wrestle the men and women that I defended against, it meant the world to me because Grog being a promoter who's wrestled and promoted for over 40 years, he could easily, he's seen talent. He's seen the people who's gone to bigger places. He could easily took that and said, I don't really feel like you're there. But for him to let me hold it for damn near 5 years, I ain't gonna lie, I felt like Samoa Joe doing his Ring of Honor run. It was like anybody can get bodied. Anybody.
That's a long time, man. When you had that title though, when you met people like non-wrestling fans, did you ever like introduce yourself as like, I'm a world heavyweight champion? Did you ever throw that around, or did you just like keep it in the tuck?
It depends. If I was out of town or out of state, I'd bring my belt with me. I love the fact where I'd have it on my bag or in my bag. And well, I used to like it. And TSA would take it out. I was like, oh man, this is cool. Like, you do boxing? I was like, no, I wrestle. It says wrestling on the belt, but you know, cool. But it got to this point where when me and Mike had at least 5 championships all around, we had to carry those belts all around. So we thought it'd be a cool idea if we went and got a bag for all our belts. We got one. We rolled around. We were trying to go to Oklahoma for a booking, and we was running through the airport. Well, trying to get to the damn flight. The bottom of the bag had ripped. Oh. So all the belts starts to fall out. So we had to stop, gather all the belts, put them back in place, then lift, then run off. And while we're running, one of these little girls is like, why you got so many belts? White Mike, without even stopping on a beat, because we're good, little bitch.
Whoa. Oh my God. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse.
You are good.
That out.
White Mike, man, he's one of the greatest, man.
Nah, for sure.
But things like that, it was like, yeah, I ain't toting these belts around no more like that. Y'all got to pay me for it.
Speaking of partners, man, if you could have any like dream partner, like I guess alive or like dead or like fictional or whatever, who would be your partner and why?
Tuco Scorpio.
Yes. Yes.
At any time. Hell, right now.
Yeah, I was about to say you could probably still get him now, honestly, if you you could probably still reach out. No, Tuco Scorpio is the man. As an accomplished tag team champion, in your opinion, what does it take to build a successful tag team behind the curtain? Something that the typical wrestling fans might not know.
Communication. Communication and transparency. Tag team wrestling is literally like a relationship. Okay. It's like a relationship. You have to talk. You have to be around that person to see you have chemistry. Because if you don't, it's going to show in the ring. It's like you can't fake chemistry. You have to at least like each other.
Okay.
To some extent.
Some extent, yeah. Okay.
Be open to each other's ideas, because it's never just one person leading and the other person is just here. You should never try to make each other feel like the lesser. It's like, we're on doing this, we're doing it together. Your victories, I'm gonna clap for you. My victories, I would hope you do the same for me. And a lot of times when certain tag teams get in positions, they get to a crossroads where they either want to keep going together or they just want to see how it goes separately. And that's where we went. It's like the Gymnastic Boys was a beautiful moment in time to where I could express and write my love letter to tag team wrestling. Because I was a true fan of tag team wrestling. That's why I first saw Two Cold Scorpio when he tagged with Buff Bagwell, WCW. And I'd see all these other tag teams work and then break up, or they do successful things together. I always wanted anyone I tagged with, it was like, we do this together, and if we didn't work out, there's no hard feelings. I'm still gonna love, I'm still clapping for you. I still want you to do this because I didn't know you before wrestling. I didn't know any of y'all before wrestling. So it's like, I'm able to detach feelings and see the goals that people acquire. So even if I don't like people, or we may not talk anymore, I'm still showing love to them. I'm still happy for them because I know what it took to get those accomplishments to some extent.
Gotcha. Moving on to the training part of it, man. You being a trainer, like you said, you took that long ride. I'm not ever going to forget that. You said that. You took that long drive up to Ohio. What are some of the humps that new wrestlers tend to never get over? And what are some tips that you can give? What are some of the humps that new wrestlers never can get over? And what are some tips or solutions that you give them to get past that?
Doubting oneself. We all get into this business and we see the people in front of us and we don't want to mess up. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to say anything that step on toes. We're just happy to be there. But in doing so, you accept a lot of things that your character originally didn't want to do in this business because you didn't speak up. You didn't voice your concerns because you didn't want to step on toes. Taking titles from other people and accepting it. Like, oh man, you suck. Oh, you're never going to get good. You're just a greenhorn. You're all this. When you accept that, you now take on what someone else labeled you. That probably don't know you, that probably won't be around during your development, and probably won't be around when you get what's coming to you. Respectfully.
Yeah.
So is that peer pressure, the whole I'm a wrestler, so I gotta do this and be this. If people that didn't go to college didn't have that experience of life, this is their experience of life coming in with wrestling. Their first time of freedom, their first time to think and be and not really question what I can do. I can just do it. But then when they see all these other people that are successful saying, you can't do this. Back in my day, we didn't do this or any of this. I can't remember who the wrestler said it, but he was I think, please forgive me, I'm quoting this wrong. I think Killer Kowalski quoted and said, Harley Race's headbutt from the top rope was dangerous and stupid. That was back in the day, a headbutt from the top rope. So every generation is going to hate the next generation. Hopefully, this time is passing now. It's more so of helping the new generation, making sure people aren't getting treated how they were treated when they got in here. So just paying it forward, making sure that the generation under you is coming up to where the generation under them can appreciate them, appreciate what the people that did under them, because it's a big, long fraternity, sorority, growing tree, tribe, however you want to say it. That's what it is. And it's based off of how you interact with this and how you leave it. That's the most important things.
Got you.
So to the young wrestlers, to the wrestlers that are still finding themselves, to the wrestlers that are in those big places, and you may find, I'm watching this. Everything happens for a reason, and you'll understand why I say this. The universe is the ultimate booker. She makes no mistakes. She knows the finishes. No one's going to kick out of that finish. No one has. So while you're on this journey, have fun. Have fun with everything, even the bad times. Because you wouldn't have been in this bad time if you wasn't in wrestling. You chose to do this, so this is what comes with it. And it's not a bad thing. Not at all. It's the process. So
did you ever want to become a trainer, like when you first started wrestling, or did you realize kind of like down the line?
Not at all. I thought I was just going to wrestle.
I got you.
I said this so many times, but it rings true to me. Like, my only goal in wrestling was to not suck.
That's a fair goal. That's fair. I feel like that's a fair goal to have.
That was my only thing. I didn't want to do all this as a kid, get distracted all the time, get yelled at teachers because I'm not paying attention. I'm watching wrestling and all this in class, missing relationships, missing time with family, missing important development with my niece and nephews. And then I turn out, I suck at this. This would have broke my heart.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. I feel like everything else was just an added bonus. So when the possibility of being a trainer came up, I could be very transparent when I say this, I wasn't taking it as serious as I do now. I was still focusing on what can I do to fix tag team? What can I do to fix my wrestling career? What can I do to just be better? And I was able to help some of the kids when I first started training down in Winston-Salem. But I know I didn't give them my all. I know now. And I know I had to go through that to be where I am now. So I hope grace is given for both sides. But yeah, I never really planned on being a trainer. But which was funny because I used to be a gymnastics coach in Durham and in Raleigh, North Carolina. So I had a knack for helping kids. I love helping kids. I love seeing them develop to where they want a goal and they push it, and then seeing that reaction and seeing that jubilation. It's everything to me. It's because it's somewhere people like my mom is like, she never stopped me from accomplishing those dreams. So when I made those little small things, it meant everything to me. So I love when I could help people and they get that. They get what they're chasing. They get that big goal, that small goal, whatever it is they wanted. When they got it, it's that moment in time where it's like, yeah, I helped. I helped almost elevate someone. So when I was able to go to Ohio and then I could see the kids listening, seeing them taking everything I'm telling them to heart, it means the world to me because I know at one point that's what my trainer felt like. Mm-hmm. That's what Joe Black, my other trainer, felt like. That's when, after I got to wrestle Tuco under the first time, he took me under his wing and became almost a trainer to me. So it's like, when I get to show him these things or I get to post these things, he likes it or he talks to me about it. Like the 8-year-old in me is screaming because it's like, you are the reason I'm here.
Yeah, that gotta mean a lot to you right there, man.
And it's like, to see all that and then be embraced by that. it makes the trip and makes the decision to be moving worth it. And excuse me for that, but I just like helping. It's cool. And I never thought I'd get to this place where it's like I'm truly happy for other people because I had to, during the quarantine, not be so spiteful, be so jealous of why am I not there? Why is it not happening to me? I'm good too. I know I can do this. It's like I had to literally sit and understand that. So when I see those kids embrace me or they smile when I walk in and they know they're going to get the absolute best out of me, they're going to learn, they're going to work, they're going to be better when they came out, when they came in. That means the absolute world to me because it means I'm supposed to be doing this. And not just the wrestling part, it's the elevation of others. Like, that's become my purpose. I absolutely love when people unlock themselves, almost like a video game. You get that new skin, you get that new gear, you get that new move, you get that new entrance gear. Whatever it is that makes you pop, what makes you smile. When I know you got the world beating the shit out of you, that makes me happy because you can push through and you can create something that's yours, something that's a moment in time that no one can take away. That makes me happy. So no, I didn't really see myself being a coach, but the universe is the ultimate booker, and I just gotta follow the booking.
You got to put that on a shirt or something, man. The universe is the ultimate book. Because I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna make sure you hit the link in the bio and buy that one. I like that. I like that one. Listen, man, I've seen you make crowds pop with the Gymnasty Boys. I mean, I've seen you get booed out the building with the Syndicate, right? Like, I love the Syndicate, but man, they used to hate y'all.
They used to hate y'all. Oh my God.
Oh my God, they used to hate y'all.
I had so much fun with the Syndicate.
Man, but the reason why I say that is, man, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the heel to be a heel, or do you prefer to be a face?
Man, that's a good question. Because I love both roles.
Which one had you have your biggest pop from?
I have to say babyface. When I got to wrestle at the Civic Center, and it's like when they announced my name and they said where I was from, they just went ballistic.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, even if they didn't know me, even if they didn't come to see me, I was there. I was in that ring. I was around legends. And I got to wrestle in front of thousands of people. 15 minutes from my house. 15 minutes from my backyard. 15 minutes where I was manifesting to be in that ring. So I guess if we're going off pops, I'd say babyface.
Got you.
But if we're going off emotions, I love pissing people off. Because there's like so many variations of being pissed off. And it's like people don't even get that. Much like how there's different ways of being mad, different ways of being happy. There's different dimensions of it. I like tapping into different versions of it. There was one fan. I walked out, and he's someone who I don't know how to say this correctly, so I'm gonna do my absolute best. he had no legs, and he sat in the wheelchair at the time. Well, so I'm walking to the ring. He's booing me. I look at him, and I start to look down because I like analyzing people and making jokes about them, because then I'll have someone to pick on for the rest of the match. So I looked at him. I assessed what was happening. He looked me dead in my face, and he said, "You better not effing laugh." And that was almost like I wanted to break fourth wall and look at the camera. I was like, come on. Mm-hmm. So I took a deep breath. I bent down. I looked up at him, and I screamed, laughed at him for 30 seconds. The music stopped playing. TJ was in the ring. Elijah's in the ring already. I'm just laughing at him. And his wife wanted to stab me. If her eyes had knives, they'd just be.
Oh, man.
So not only did I mess with them that match, they were loyal fans. So I messed with them every time I was there. There was one time they're in the crowd, not the crowd, they're in the line waiting for to get in. Me and TJ are just cutting promos, just running down the crowd. We see him. I look at Boss. I was like, "Hey, pick him up."
I remember this.
He's like, "What?" I said, "Pick him up." He said, "All right." He picked his ass up, and I kicked his wheelchair.
I remember this.
Wait, what?
We were there. I remember this. It was like we were in line trying to get into the area where the matches were going to be at. We were online, and it all happened online, man. I remember. You picked him up out the chair, and he kicked the wheelchair off from under him, man. You were there.
Wait, what?
God, Tony was there. We all was there. That was hilarious, man.
And I'm just laughing at him. And his wife is yelling, "Put him down. Put him the F down." I was like, "I ain't holding him."
The guy wears glasses. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know the guy, but I don't know. Like, I've never seen that. I don't remember that. I know exactly who you're talking about, but I don't know. That's crazy. That's kind of nuts, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
Good times, man.
I love having these conversations.
I love Carolina wrestling.
Memory.
I love Carolina wrestling, man. Good times, man. Good time. I remember that,
I got so many. Many fans writ us.
Syndicate days was the greatest, man.
They wanted us off the show. They wanted us out of wrestling. Oh man.
So as a wrestler, like, how do you find like inspiration in unexpected places that like enhance your wrestling persona?
I say just being around people. It's when we get into wrestling, we get this whole speech about it's you turned up to the max. Essentially, that's what it is. It's just you being brave enough and being able to express this and being emotional enough to where you can say, "Hey, I'm vulnerable in these stages in certain places where I want you to understand where I'm coming from." Because I tell my students this when we're training. Wrestlers, in a sense, are like superheroes and supervillains. We all have our favorite superheroes. We all have our favorite villains. We all know their backstories, all know their powers. We know we can't do their powers, the fans in the sense that watch us, but the emotional connection, the day-to-day life, the flipping of a bottle and someone says, "What's that?" It's like, shut up. the hell's going on? Because we all been in situations where we can relate. It happens in movies, it happens in TV shows to where we get glued in. So I love studying people. It's like I love watching wrestling, but I've at an age where I am now is like when I go meditate, I'll just see people walking up and down the street, seeing how putting myself almost like a wanderer, like how would they be during the day? I would almost put myself in their shoes and put them in a scenario with wrestling. What would this old lady do if she's on top rope about to do a swanton on this 400-pound behemoth? How would she sell that? How would she get the crowd to get behind her? And then when I see an old lady, I try to relate to her. If I see a kid, I try to relate to him. If I see anyone in the sense to where I know they can go through something and we all been through something, I put that in my scenarios, my life, my wrestling, my promos to where it gravitates to people. Because we're already in wrestling. People that came here came to see wrestling. Everyone that wrestles have been trained to do the exact same moves. So what else do you have to where if you do that move, someone cares enough, they will travel 3 hours to see you possibly do that move?
Sure.
Was it a look, a glimmer, a smile, a grin, a scowl, anything to where people was like, I want him to either win or someone beat him in a place where I don't care about wins or losses. The elevation is more important to me. So I could be leg broke. I'm still wanting to see what else it come from me based off of what you're doing. Because I'm not fighting you, I'm fighting me. So once people see that and understand, I'm just you. I'm in a sense a mirror. And how you reflect and how you come off is basically how I'm just presenting it.
It made perfect sense. That made perfect sense.
So what do you hope the audience, takes away from your performances beyond the aspect of just like wrestling itself? I guess like from an emotional standpoint, what do you hope like in the future, people take away from your performances?
That I care. I understand that the times we're in, that wrestling has been almost put on this pedestal where it's like, oh, you got to be this way, you got to say this and be this, and that's where the whole perception is, even with fans outside of wrestling. So I want someone who's never seen wrestling to believe in me. They can know everything. I can put the whole script in front of you and you can read it move for move. But each move, I'm going to pull you in. Each line, I'm going to pull you in. Each look, you're going to sink and want more. You're going to want to watch this movie. You're going to want to read the story. Because I've waited all my life to do this. I'm never going to hold back. I'm never going to be scared to do this. I'm never going to limit myself in this. I'm my creative player. I took this and put it out here. And that's for every creator. That's for any entertainer. That's for songwriters, artists. This was here first. You had the willpower, you had the understanding, and you pushed through to where your art, your idea is now seen by the world. So if you can do that once, you can do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over. The only person that's stopping you is literally you. Nobody else can stop you. No one can put these titles on you unless you accept it. No one can say you can't do this unless you accept it. So I truly just want people to take away that even in the midst of what you're going through, you can do anything. I want that match. I want that to be taken away from you. See from me.
Gotcha.
My last question. We're gonna play.
You gonna hit it with the question?
We're gonna hit it with the question. You get to be the ultimate booker. You get to be the universe. Actually, in this scenario, who's your dream opponent? What kind of match are you having? Where is the match taking place?
Lio Rush, GCW, anywhere on this planet.
Book it.
I like it. Are we doing like an Extreme Rules match? Like just anything goes?
However you want to get down.
I want to see you and Lio Rush in like the Heart Dungeon. Like remember like the Lions Den match?
I mean, he has great wrestling ability. I know he had like an amateur background as well. I do too, so we can do that. I'll be down.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool and different.
That would be that. That would be
kind of cool and different. I mean, hey, I'm trying to throw some shit out there, man. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. You got it.
I might jump on 2K and make that happen tonight. Don't worry.
There we go. Yeah, now we're talking.
That might be on YouTube in the morning. Don't worry. But no, man.
Similarly, my nephew got the video game now. I want him to play with me. Oh, pause. Play as me on the video game.
Got you. I'll set it up. But check this out, man. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for your
I caught
wisdom.
myself. Don't laugh at me.
Nah,
I saw you.
I was gonna let it roll. But look, man, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your stories.
Thank you for having me.
100%.
Thank you for your guidance, man. Hey. I'm not gonna lie to you. You have said so much with this little bit of time. You have said so
absolutely.
So you have dropped so many gems in this little bit of time that, like, typically it's like I want to cut out stories and put things out on the internet. But it's like, man, everything you said was a damn gem. And the way that you articulated yourself and the way that you put everything together, it's like everybody need to hear every single word.
Facts.
Even if you're not a wrestler, if you're a creative, if you just live day by day, you had something to say for that person. And I appreciate that, man. I thank you. Thank you for what you do in the ring. What I will say is I want to see you in the Shay. You know what I mean? Real soon. I want to say it one more time. I want to see you in the Shay real soon. And you can click back up with your old buddies. However you guys want to do it, you know, I would love to see you in the Shay real soon. You know,
the universe is the ultimate booker. So whatever she says, I'm there.
I'll definitely drive up to Charlotte to see that.
I just want to say thank you guys for having me, and thank you for what you guys are doing. This is a beautiful platform that you're creating for not just wrestling fans, but for wrestlers like us, people like us. It's very important. So thank you, guys. Truly.
Thank you.
No problem. Shyland, any last words, my friend?
No. Hey, listen. Shyland has a film coming out next week. Listen. Shyland Flowers, bro. I have nothing to say.
New music for Shyland Flowers is coming, guys. More interviews is coming from us. Make sure you follow the Infinite Man. The tag is right there at the bottom of the screen.
Thanks.
Make sure you follow him. If you up in Ohio, make sure you checking him out. Mega Championship Wrestling. If he comes to Charlotte, I'm gonna make sure I blast it out to everybody and their mama and them, because y'all got to see this man in the ring.
Preach.
And it's only going to be better. We was talking about moments from like years ago. So it's only going to be better, you know, when he step into the ring today in the Carolinas. But again, man, it's Champs Road. Thank you guys for checking in. Make sure you follow us. Make sure you follow him. And we'll be right back at you for another interview really, really soon, man. And we
Peace.
Out.